I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about true crime and psychology. Thank you so much for joining. Let's hop right into today's topic. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. Today was another day of a ton of testimony in Donna Adelson's trial. If you know nothing about this case, if you know nothing about this trial, I have my coverage. So I made an Adelson playlist. I felt like it was probably needed. There will probably be more Saturday. We'll probably be covering up on any important testimony or things that came out. And talking about this case, complicated family dynamics come up. And I wanted to review a few clips from Wendy's testimony. I wanted to take a look at Rob's testimony. So, Robert is the oldest of the Adelson children, but he's the one that moved away. And the state is doing a phenomenal job, in my opinion. Now, there are times where you're like, is this Wendy's trial or is this Donna's trial? Or there are times where it seems like there's a lot of information pointing and like, you're like, how does this but because of how the state is presenting that each each player, the state's theory is they insulated the other person. So we have to talk about Wendy talking with her boyfriend at the time, Jeff, and uh, we have to talk about his testimony. We have to talk about all these other things. And so we will be covering quite a bit today. Let me know if y'all have any general questions. Remember, we take a look at things from a psychological perspective. I was following with reporting live from my sofa. So Paul's stream, I do watch with Emily D. Baker too. I've seen some of her coverage, and I know there are a lot of other phenomenal streamers covering it. I didn't get to catch Kathy's update because, like I said, I've been in trainings yesterday and today, but that's just some of the things that I've been doing. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. So with Wendy's testimony, it started with her lawyer getting up to make a statement on the record about her basically anything she testifies to from the prosecution or the defense, any questions she asks, that the testimony she gives, it can't be used against her. I believe it's called derivative immunity, but with that, her lawyer made a statement. I did want it to play when she comes in because Donna, I didn't realize that her and Donna hadn't spoken since Donna was arrested. And because Donna, sometimes she says too much. And so I'm going to play this because Donna like lights up and kind of gets a little emotional when she sees Wendy. And the judge reminds Donna to not to manage her emotions, especially in front of the jury. And I turned on the closed captioning too. All right. So I think Wendy's going to come in. Yep. So Wendy's about to come in. And let me see if what speed we're on. Okay, good. We're on normal. The judge has been phenomenal, I think. Judge Everett, he has like the patience of Job. I don't know, but he does set boundaries. And so Wendy comes in. And Donna, she's just kind of looking at her at first, but then her face kind of changes a little. She almost looked proud. I don't know. And I don't know what's going on with Donna. Like nobody knows. And so, she hasn't seen her daughter in a few years. And so the TV camera is but it's just because to me,
even though the
Wendy's team pointed the finger at Donna a little. I'm sorry, Donna's team. See, I got that wrong. Donna's team pointed the finger at Wendy. So I'm hearing talking. I'm seeing that talking is here. Let me just make sure that my audio is set up on this side. It was fine earlier. Let me just make sure.
Once again, dealing with the needs of 14 people.
Can y'all hear it? Let me know if y'all can hear the feed on your end. I wonder if it's not muted. The volume's up. Technology. You have to love technology. And people are asking questions about, so Monique, are you asking about Donna or Wendy?
They might be in the bathroom, so wait for the knock.
Yeah, I don't have any sound coming in here. Let me see. I'm just gonna fix it. Technology, fun times.
I believe that we have a few.
Yeah, let me just fix it on. Okay, you can hear it. Good. So I don't know why. So you can hear the stream. So let me know. Let me know if you can hear the stream. You can hear everything fine. I don't know why I can't hear it. Let me just make sure my headphones are plugged in. Let me go back on my settings cuz I'm not hearing it on my end. Yeah, and I have everything turned on. Uh Okay, so y'all are hearing me and the court. And I can't hear the court. And that's I need to be able to hear. Oh, maybe had something plugged in here. That was probably the problem. I had some other headphones plugged.
That do need to use
I
the
can hear it now.
restroom. If anyone needs to stretch their legs or use the bathroom themselves, please take your opportunity.
All right, so they're going to take a break and then they will come back. The state, so with Wendy's testimony, anytime she was asked kind of about things that about her, this is my impression and my thoughts on how this went. Wendy was very like she answered yes or no if it had to do with Charlie or her mother, but if it had to do with her, she would need her recollection refreshed or and the state did a really good job, I think, with preparing and having everything ready to go. It comes out during her testimony that, like, before the wedding, um, she talks to a friend, I think around the time of the divorce or maybe after the divorce. Sometimes it can be hard to follow the timeline as everything is happening. But before, where she pretty much says that she felt like she was like living out somebody else's wishes, and the state appropriately asked her, whose wishes did you think you were living out? Yeah, and but then it gets really clear if it has to do with somebody else, not so much when it has to do with her. The the prosecutor, Georgia, she is doing a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. I skipped wash day, and it's going to get the hair is just going to keep getting happier and happier. The prosecution came with all of the receipts and I was here for it. So let me just go to my notes. The prosecution knew exactly where the evidence they wanted to talk about was, and I think they because they had because they had asked Wendy questions before, because this is Wendy's fourth trial that she's testified in, and she did the same thing during her other testimony. The things that the new things for me in this one that I either didn't remember or didn't come up was the stuff about like how she was feeling before the wedding. I didn't remember that coming up before. um, yeah, when because even Wendy looked a little emotional too with seeing her mom, which once again, that could be understandable. She said, "I don't remember a lot." There was a lot of "I don't remember" when it had to do with her. And I wonder if the jury is going to find Wendy credible. And will they find Jeff, her boyfriend, or anybody else to be more credible? The defense, so Donna's defense seemed to try to want to point the finger at Wendy a little. That's how I thought. Um, but right at the end of the testimony, the state asked some very pointed questions. And so let's start from about here because the state is going to directly ask her if she was involved with anything, and she's going to say no. I might be a little bit before that, but this was at the very end of her direct testimony.
You learned that information prior to getting into the interview room?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember allowing law enforcement to take possession of your computer in that interview?
I told law enforcement to search my phone, search my computer, search my house, search my car. I was trying to be helpful.
And with all of that, my thought, so these are just my thoughts. To me, if Wendi was involved with anything, I don't know that they were going to find any evidence of it. And so uh I someone mentioned, I don't know if it was the state or the defense, that she mentioned 9 times, like whether or not she was a suspect or not. It was a lot. It was so much. Okay, yeah. I also thought she looked emotional seeing her mom. So her and her mother, I think, were very close. In my opinion, they were too close. Okay. So there is a healthy, so me and my mother are very close, but my mother doesn't control my life. I don't feel responsible for my mother's emotions. Wendi also said on the stand that she doesn't like conflict. So when she talked about breaking up with Jeff by text message, she kind of snuck in there that she doesn't like conflict. And if the jury remembers that, or and the state can't use it in the future, because it's like, because she has all of these emails talking about she's fine with living in Tallahassee, but then this other conversations of I hate Tallahassee. And so everything with Wendi just feels all over the place to me. It was a lot. It really was a lot. Okay, we're gonna get back to these last questions from the state. And then we're gonna watch a little bit of the defense's cross.
Do you remember saying that it was okay for them to take the computer and keep it even though you had work things on there because you didn't think you would be going back to work?
I remember thinking it wasn't important. I couldn't imagine. My life fell apart. So
But you didn't go back to work, did you, at FSU?
I did actually go back, not physically present, but I was still on the FSU payroll until December of that year.
She likely took some leave. And for anybody wondering, kind of, so they mentioned that Wendi lives in a different state now, and that she's an immigration lawyer. I saw that come up in some chats. I just saw that come up in some chats. We'll keep it going.
Okay. In that interview with law enforcement, did you suggest that your parents are people who may have been angry enough to kill Dan Markel?
I suggested a lot of people who could have been angry enough to kill Danny.
And
Including
were
her parents.
some of the people my parents?
Yes.
But you said in the interview that you didn't think they were capable of it, didn't you?
I did.
If your mom wasn't capable of it, did she have anyone that she could enlist to assist her?
And that's where the state is pointing the fingers at Charlie. Okay, so if your mom couldn't do it, did she know anybody that might be able to do this?
I don't know.
What was your first thought when you were asked if anyone might have murdered Dan Markel for your benefit?
I thought maybe a crazed friend or a former student.
It's not what you said, though, is it?
I don't remember exactly what I said first.
You said Charlie, right?
If that's what I said, then you have it there. But I don't remember who I listed first.
Okay. Can you?
And that's just so strange. I like how somebody described it as kind of like the doughy, and I think it comes up with Rob. I think her brother Rob described her as a damsel in distress. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. If it was Rob that said that, or if that was Jeff. I'm almost positive it was Rob. I wrote it down. It's in my notes. Whoever it was.
Please tell the jury you definitely did say Charlie as one of those people.
I did.
Do you remember saying, if somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law?
Yes.
And Isom says, regardless of who it is. And do you recall your answer?
I do recall my answer.
What was that?
I think I was hoping it wasn't anyone in my family. And so that idea that it was someone in my family gave me pause.
All right, but that wasn't your answer, was it?
I don't remember word for word what I
Okay.
said, but that was my sentiment at the time.
Was your answer for court and counsel, this is law enforcement interview page 122, lines 7 through 12. If somebody tried to kill my ex-husband, they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Question, regardless of who it is. Answer, I mean, it would be different if I thought it were my brother. Did you call your mom from the interview room?
It would be different if I thought it were my brother. Okay, it was Rob. Thank you. Y'all, chat is phenomenal. Regardless of who it is, well, if it's my brother, and but she said, I also thought it was strange that she hasn't watched any of her interviews, but I think it's so that she can do the I don't remember. I don't, and I remember I am not a lawyer, okay? But if I had given a police interview and it was on YouTube, I would have watched it. And if I could have watched the other trials, I mean, this is trials for the murder of my husband. I would have watched them. And I think it probably was, because I think she's honestly saying I don't remember what it was, because we're talking about interviews from 2014, and so she likely doesn't remember exactly. But I would have watched it. And so when Kate Catherine McBanawa got on, no, it wasn't Katie. It was my bad. Katie, it was Charlie's other ex-girlfriend. Y'all know me in names. It starts with a J, but she looks a lot like Katie. And I wrote down her name. Oh gosh, it started with a J. Charlie's ex. I didn't even write down her name, but she did mention that the police thought she might have been Katie. Charlie definitely had a type. June. Thank you. It was June. Charlie definitely had a bit of a type. And so let's keep this going.
Room at Tallahassee Police Department?
I did.
And did she answer the phone?
She did.
When she answered, did she advise you that your dad was in the shower?
I don't remember whether my dad was in the shower.
You asked her to sit down. Do you remember that?
I do.
And by asking her to sit down, would that signify to her that this was going to be something serious you were going to reveal or say?
I was concerned about her age, and if she were standing, that she could, hurt herself if she fell down.
Okay. And do you recall that she at that point asked if she could put you on speakerphone?
I don't remember, but that sounds plausible.
What was the purpose of putting the phone on speaker, if you know?
I would be guessing, but so my dad could hear too.
But wasn't dad in the shower, or you don't remember that part?
I don't remember if my dad was in the shower.
Was anyone else there to your knowledge?
I don't think so.
Was Charlie there to your knowledge?
I don't think so.
Did you ask your mom in that telephone conversation to tell Charlie what was going on?
I think I did. I didn't want to make any more phone calls.
And your mom took the news pretty well, didn't she, this phone call?
I wouldn't say she took the news well. I think she was upset.
Did you say something different in your law enforcement interview after you got off the phone with her?
I don't think I did. I don't think I said something like that.
Didn't you say, page 265, line 5 through 6, quote, my mom handled that pretty well?
I may have said that. I can check it. Can you tell me the line?
And when Wendi goes to check the numbers, the pages and everything, it's And she does. There is a lot of blinking, and this is a bit of a stressful situation. I think she's very aware that the state has their eyes on her, and I personally, for my own personal thoughts, if Donna's convicted, I wonder, so right after Charlie was convicted, Donna was arrested. I personally wonder if the state if they think they have enough to convict Wendi. I don't know if they do. I don't know. And I think of all of the convictions, or all the trials, I think Wendy's would probably be the toughest because it's it's strange. And the people that know the information, I don't know if they'll say what they know. So I don't if Donna does take the stand, I don't know if she would. I think she's gonna say, "I didn't know anything. I wasn't involved. I'm completely innocent." And if Charlie is asked questions about anything with Wendi, I think he's gonna say, and I was wrongfully convicted. I wasn't involved. I don't know. Like, I think it's gonna be a lot. All right. I'm gonna make it a little bigger so y'all can see the reaction for this part.
Again?
Yes, ma'am. Page 265, line 5 and 6.
She's gonna see it there. It's there.
Yes, that's what I said.
And then page 280, line 22 and 23. Did you also say, well, my parents sounded really surprised, so that's at least a relief?
Yes, I see that here.
Which to me, making that type of statement would be like, "Oh, that's a relief. Like, I'm glad I'm glad they're surprised. I'm glad they weren't thinking this would happen." I think that means they're not involved. Like, that's just a weird thing to say. It's just a weird thing to say. I do think Donna is protecting herself. Y'all let me know in the chat. I personally like the male attorney, but so the female attorney, she's fine. Like Donna's female attorney, but to me, sometimes she jumps around too much and I get confused. And I think sometimes she confuses the witnesses, and sometimes I am watching it on 2 speed, so maybe I need to slow it down. Yeah, I like him better. And not that she's not doing anything wrong necessarily, but sometimes when she gets up and when she's asking questions, there are these huge pauses between questions that just it's a lot. Okay. Yeah, like and this is a complicated case, and so and and I don't know if she's trying to trip up witnesses, but, like, because even the witnesses, because sometimes she'll say the information wrong, so I know I'm bad with names and dates, okay? I am not a trial attorney. I would not make a great trial. I'm a psychologist. So, when I'm in therapy, if I get like, we can fix it. Like, mistakes are how we learn. That's my perspective. But at one point, I think with Wendi, uh the Donna's female attorney gets she says June instead of July, and the incident happened July 18th. It wasn't June 18th. And once again, everybody makes mistakes, but there are certain details that you need to have nailed down, and it is what it is. All right. We're gonna watch her flip through some papers.
No further questions.
Okay. So I think on cross-examination, that's when the state is gonna come back at her. All right. So, to me, there were times when the defense seemed to kind of be pointing the finger at Wendi and like, well, your mom didn't know that he was or that you had agreed to that you stipulated to this or that. We'll watch a little bit of the cross. Let's watch a little bit of it.
Want to. That's what you said, right?
I say, even though I don't want to give up my current flexible job where I get to spend maximum time with my kids so I can be with them.
Okay. And that was June the 4th of 2013, right?
Yes.
And what you end up choosing was the second alternative, correct?
I went through with the hearing.
Okay. And I think, let me find it.
She stipulated to it. That's where we're going. It's gonna take her a minute to find it.
May I approach, Your Honor? I'm going to show you what's already been introduced into evidence as State's Exhibit 60. Let's see if I can figure out their lettering system. That would be Y. I'm going to take this and let you take this book.
Okay.
And if you would review that pleading, or just this order that the court entered, please.
I'm gonna fast forward through her taking.
And Gary ended up coming, correct?
He did.
And he testified, right?
Yes.
And you gave some testimony, correct?
Yes.
And what happened was the judge kind of called a timeout, right?
I don't remember a timeout.
At some point, she wanted to speak to counsel. Is that right?
I'm sorry. I don't remember that part of her speaking to counsel.
Do you remember the judge making some comments about the children hadn't been harmed and since he hadn't pulled out their toenails?
I do remember the toenail comment. Yes.
So she wasn't leaning towards relocation, correct?
No.
Okay. So even though you had other witnesses, you didn't proceed with the hearing, right?
Well, I think we had the hearing and the judge decided.
You didn't call all your witnesses, did you?
I don't remember.
But that's where, okay. So when this part was happening, I personally was wondering if the defense lawyer, not defense, if Wendy's family lawyer, maybe if they weren't sure if Donna was going to be a great witness. So, and also if they put Donna on the stand, I think his attorney would be able to ask her questions as well. So but that part didn't get cleared up of like why Donna wasn't called during that family hearing. Like it was this part, it just, and Donna's just trying to say, I'm just this innocent grandmother, sweet, loving, kind. And then the state is showing these messages where she's suggesting dressing the children up. And Donna's Jewish. She knows she has Jewish children. She's suggesting dressing her Jewish children up in, no lie, Nazi uniforms but to get at Dan, to make Dan do what they want Dan to do. And so it comes off as so much. And anybody on the outside, as I'm watching Donna's defense team present certain evidence that they think makes their client look better. And I think there were certain things Donna probably wanted them to ask. So I don't know that the defense really wanted to ask about Donna making the banana bread with chocolate chips. I don't like it. That just feels like that's something Donna would want to be out there. I don't know that for sure. This is all speculation. We're just chatting. But with certain things coming out that Donna is thinking is making her look good, it reminds me of when Sarah Boone was presenting her evidence and her attorney is cross-examining witnesses, trying to bring out anything. And it was just making Sarah look worse and worse. And so I think when Donna looks at this situation, she may see it different than the rest of us see it. Just because, in my just personal opinion, it seems like she protects her ego. And anything that she does that maybe is a little over the top, it's, because I care too much. But if Dan is trying to see his kids, he's the narcissist. He's the one that's controlling. He's the one that's doing all these things. And so I personally think just from how this is going, there seems to be a lack of insight into how Donna's behavior may come off to the jury. Because if I was on the jury, I would be like, and so I wouldn't be voting guilty. Like the state still has a lot of evidence to present, but I would be like, this is a mess. This is a messy mess because it just is. All right. We're going to watch a little bit more of this, and then the state is going to cross-examine her again.
If you look at the order,
Whatever it's called.
it says order on wife's petition to relocate with the minor children. And then it says what the court orders and adjudges. The court does not find that the wife has met her burden of proof that a relocation is in the best interest of the minor children. You see that?
Yes, number 1.
Yes. And your mother actually stayed outside for the testimony of that hearing with your dad, correct?
I don't.
The state is probably already preparing their rebuttal evidence, because as soon as the state gets the mic again, like they come with exactly what they want. Like I think Georgia knows this case forward, backward, and also like she's she's been on the case, handling all these things, and so, but. And the defense, because Donna's new defense team, have they had this case for about a year or so? I don't know. But the state is prepared, and it shows, in my opinion.
I don't remember, but I remember asking her to stay outside if she was going to testify.
Okay. And you came outside at some point and told your parents that relocation was denied, correct?
And I see Afton mentioned that her voice seemed more adult this time, that her voice didn't seem the small baby voice. Yeah. And so do we believe that she didn't go back and watch anything? And you're not, so I don't know if she did or not. I'm telling you, if it was me, I would have went back and watched anything that was publicly available. I just would have.
Correct.
And it's after this hearing, when relocation is denied, that those truly ugly emails that your mother wrote were written by her, correct?
Yes.
Same money.
May I approach? Actually, if you'd keep that for a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna fast forward.
Judgment was entered. The issue of relocation was over, right?
Yes.
Relocation from July 31st of 2013 until the time that Mr. Markell was murdered was never an issue again, was it?
It was never an issue from the day it was decided on July 31st, 2013. That's when it ended.
And somebody mentioned, so for me personally, if I was driving, let's say me and my husband weren't together and I drove near his house and there was crime scene tape, I would probably just text him to be like, hey, are you okay? Like I would probably, I don't know, like that would be weird to me if I saw crime scene tape, but I'm a nosy person that likes to know information. So when I hear ambulances go by in our neighborhood, or so we have a nosy neighbor app. That's not what it's called. It's just a group where people post stuff. Anytime people, like if helicopters are, people are on the nosy neighbor app saying, they're looking for somebody that's this description, or I don't like the nosy neighbor app normally has it. Like most of us would be, I would have a question. She did not, but that whole Jeff, we are going to watch a little bit of Jeff's testimony. Poor Jeff. I'm glad Jeff left town early, because Jeff ended up having an alibi and he didn't even know that he was going to need one.
Certainly after the final judgment, correct?
Yes.
And that's the end of the discussion about relocation, right?
Yes.
No more plans about how to get relocation, the issue's decided, correct?
It was decided.
Because I feel like the defense is trying to say that, like, Wendi should have told her mom, or like her mom would have stopped her erratic behavior if Wendi had just told her that it was final. But her mom knew it was, and so that's what the state is going to prove, that her mom knew it was final. But gonna fast forward.
At that order that's entered by the court, besides saying it's denied, it says something pretty important, and I think the state pointed this out in its opening.
So they're going to say that she stipulated to it, and we all know that she did. Okay, it is what it is. I am gonna skip ahead a little bit. Okay, because this is when the state comes back up. Gonna fast forward. Oh, maybe they're doing something with the judge.
You can bring him in.
The jury.
Ms. Adelson, isn't it true that before
Let me clarify. So the defense is still asking her questions right now. The defense is still asking questions.
getting married to Mr. Markell in, was it 2006?
2006, we got married.
Isn't it true that you've stated that you knew on your fancy wedding day, when you were all dolled up and feeling like you were an actor in someone else's show, you knew it on your honeymoon when you were enjoying the vacation but not thrilled to be there with him? You said, "I'm not sure I liked him, let alone loved him, but I was eager to start a life with someone and he wanted to do it with me." Recall saying that?
I don't recall.
And the defense is bringing this one up. So, is your light on? I think there was manipulation happening everywhere. I don't think it was from one, like this just seems, we talked about enmeshment in a past video where everybody's emotions or everybody's problems or everybody's until they don't want them to be anymore. Let me parent. Hey, what's up? Yes.
So my dad said
Mhm.
they might try to launch.
Oh, tonight they might do a special launch. So are you
Might try to launch.
are you going to watch the launch with Dada?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said it was like at 7:30.
What 7:30? Okay, I'll definitely be done by 7:30 and we can be done with dinner by that time if you're going to watch the launch, okay? Okay, I'm going to finish my video, okay? All right, thank you. Y'all know my husband is an aerospace engineer, and so he tracks when launches are happening. So I guess there's a launch that might happen today. See, married to a rocket scientist. That's what happens. Like, so to me, I was a little surprised just how far Donna is letting her team throw Wendi under the bus, knowing that the state has their eyes on Wendi. I was, but not like, but I think Donna, I think she's trying to save herself. And I think Wendy's smart. And when I say Wendy's smart, I think the reason why Wendi hasn't had conversations with Donna is because if Wendi had talked to Donna, I don't think Donna could have controlled herself trying. Like, I think that's why Donna had the prison daughters. And y'all, I can't wait for the state to bring if any of the prison daughters are going to testify, that Donna was trying to get them to say that Katie McBanois was a liar. Because why would you need that if you're innocent? Like, if you're innocent, because it makes you look real guilty. It's looking like consciousness of guilt, trying to bribe people to, like, you're still doing more crimes while you're like on trial for your crime. If it happened the way that the state thinks it happened. And so I am definitely looking forward to that testimony. All right, I'll make myself small again, and we're gonna listen to these things Wendi was saying before she ever got married. If you're ever having these kinds of feelings before you get married, that's a red flag. Like, don't get married, say no to your family, you know, like it's just a mess. But I think Donna wanted Wendi to have this like marriage to this prestigious person, and I don't know, like I think Donna wanted a lot, but it was almost like it was Donna's life and not Wendy's life. That's where there were no boundaries. And I think it was Jeff. Somebody mentioned that they noticed that the family, it was Jeff, that they noticed that the family had no boundaries.
Saying that, no.
I have placed in front of you what's been previously marked as Defendant's Exhibit 1B for identification purposes. It's towards the bottom of page 3.
Oh. And so she's reading, and the federal government, I don't for when I don't know. I don't know if they would have enough, especially they couldn't even get Diddy for that. And I thought they had enough. They had so much on Diddy. I don't know. Let me go ahead and press play.
I see that I said that in 2013.
So once she realizes what she said, she either clarifies the date, or she clarifies, like, can I read the rest of the sentence? Or like sometimes she just says, okay, I see I said that, but sometimes she adds a little something to it.
Ms. Adelson, you would agree that when Danny Markell was murdered on June the 18th of 2014, your little boys lost their father for the rest of their life.
Yes.
On the day that he was murdered was July 18th, and yes, my boys lost their father.
They're
Because the lawyer said June. So that's where the lawyer said June instead of July. But
growing up as 11 years have passed without his influence in their life in any way. Isn't that correct?
I wouldn't say without his influence in any way, but yes, they've grown up without their father.
He's not here to give them advice.
He is not.
He can't come to any of their functions, sports, anything else.
Correct.
They're not eating kosher like they would have with their father.
They are not.
They don't have him at all.
They don't have him in their lives day to day, no.
Because on July the 18th of 2014, he was brutally murdered in his driveway. Isn't that true?
That is true.
And you testified on direct that anybody in your family that had anything to do with it should be held responsible. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
And that includes you, doesn't it?
Anyone who's responsible.
Redirect examination.
did they have anything? I think they did.
When you said you were an actor in someone else's show, whose show was it?
Your mom.
I think I felt like I just wasn't fully.
She didn't answer the question because the answer to that question is Donna's show. My personal thoughts, my personal opinion. She's going to give a different answer, but to me the answer to that was Donna's.
Present in my own life, that I had always been a real people pleaser, and so there was an aspect of not always being true to myself and wanting to make other people happy.
And so that's where, y'all know, I like to talk about the psychology stuff. And I do think that within this family, growing up in this type of dynamic, a person could struggle with setting boundaries. Now, what you don't do is you don't do crimes. And her brother, Charlie, her brother's ex-girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend's boyfriend, and I don't know who's afraid, I don't know, the ex-boyfriend's friend, they have all been convicted for the murder of her husband. I thought the memory thing that Jeff brought in, but it didn't get to stay in. So if you watched any of the testimony from today, So around the time of the incident, Wendi had been dating Jeff for like 7, 8 months or something. I don't know. They had been dating for a while. And Jeff is going to say on the stand that Wendi asked him about children and memories. And the defense objected. And because that had never come out, I think, in any other testimony. So this was the first time he was saying this. And so because there wasn't like a proper proffer, like there was, I don't know. Y'all know I'm not the lawyer that wasn't able to, and really that's what it makes Wendi look bad. It doesn't make Donna look bad. So I think that's why the state didn't fight it. In Sarah Boone's trial, when the witness, I think it was the state's forensic psychiatrist, when the state's forensic psychiatrist testified, there was the way she answered the question, it was slightly different, and the judge gave the defense an opportunity to proffer her right then and there, but it was related to Sarah. This was technically related to Wendi, so they let it go. But his whole thing, and I don't know if it's true, but his whole thing of her asking him when memories start, and just because we say in general, most people remember about 5 or 6. I have worked with children that remember things much younger, especially traumatic things. And then also the fact that the children didn't go to their father's funeral. And I think Wendi might try to say, like, I was so afraid for their safety. Their father was murdered. The people that did it were still, or I don't know, the people that did it were still out on the run. So I don't know what excuse, because nobody ever asked Wendi why the children didn't go but they just left it there, that the children did not go to the funeral. Wendi changed their names quickly, including the oldest middle name, but that's where it just, I don't know if I was on the jury, it would look like the Adelsons were trying to wipe Dan Markel's legacy, like they were trying to wipe it all away. And so, Dr. Barry, do you think Wendi filled the golden child role in this family? So I think initially, um, so I'm wondering if before Rob decided to stand up to Donna and then was kind of the black sheep or the estranged one or the cycle breaker. Because I think but Donna was always really, really involved in Wendy's life. And so Wendy could have been the golden child. In a dysfunctional family system, the roles people play, they get stuck in those roles. I think Charlie got stuck in like that. Let me look at the family roles. Um, because there's one that's like the mascot, the entertainment. I think Charlie was like the mascot or the black sheep. So like the one that or the scapegoat, not black sheep, the scapegoat. Um yeah, the mascot. The one immature, possibly distracting, maybe a little fragile. Um that's what I think when I look at their family dynamics. And that Wendi might have been that golden child or hero. um I don't think hero, because it seemed like everybody else solved her problems. Ooh, seemed like everybody else was trying to solve her problems, because she was golden child, and yet also like everybody wanted to save her too. I don't know. So I haven't, like, she was the golden child, but she wasn't making her own TV repair. We have some questions about what that TV was. The TV the alibi? Question mark. But because the TV repairman just so happens to be there, and they scheduled it for a time frame. They're gonna say they were open to an earlier time frame, but it's all just very questionable. I liked her being described as the damsel in distress and the one that everybody comes to save, but like, could she just stand up? So it reminds me of somebody that looks like they're drowning, but they're only in this much water. Like all the person has to do is stand up and they'll be okay. Because at one point during Wendy's testimony, she was talking about not really understanding her finances, which means other people, and that's how she made it sound. I don't know if it's true, but she made it sound like she didn't understand. She didn't know who was paying for what or how things were working. Her mom is getting the lease in her mother's maiden name because they're worried that Dan might find where she, like, it was all so much. It was all so much. So much. All right. Let's keep it going for a little bit longer.
And one of those people is your mom, right?
Yes.
And that's part of why you kept going with relocation, even when you kind of had some doubts about it, right?
I would say it's part of the reason.
You were asked on cross-examination about the final order on relocation issued June 20th, 2013. And didn't you stipulate to making it with prejudice, I guess? Do you remember doing that?
I don't actually remember stipulating. I mean, I see it in the order, but I don't remember actively saying anything or participating in a stipulation.
In fact, when you've testified about this previously, didn't you indicate you didn't know what with prejudice meant?
I think
And as a lawyer, wouldn't that be, as a lawyer, to not know what with prejudice means? Like she's like a bar, like she's like a licensed attorney. She was a licensed attorney at the time. But okay.
it's not something that comes up in my daily practice. And so at the time I had forgotten that it meant that it was a final order.
All right. And it was.
That's just convenient, though. That's just really convenient. Because I wonder if the state is thinking that that might not be completely accurate. That's when the real plan, or that's when it was like, okay, we can't get it the legal way. Is there now a plan to make things happen an illegal way? That just seems to be what the state is pointing to.
Suggested or said on cross that you didn't tell your mom it was final and she was misled and she thought there was still room for it, right?
That is what was said to me on cross.
I'm going to approach and show you what I've marked as 64JJ. Let's take a moment.
And this is where Donna's team should have known that this existed. Like if they were going to cross-examine and go down this door, I'm not a lawyer, so like her team is doing, but like the state is on it. The state is 100% on it.
Review this exhibit and let me know when you're done.
Okay.
A lot of non-committal answers. A lot of those.
Okay.
Do you recognize that email?
I mean, I recognize the email address. Is that what you mean?
Yes. Ma'am.
Yes.
Who's the email from?
The email is from my mom and dad's email address to a friend of theirs.
Who's the friend?
The Klegermans. I think it's Vicky, the woman in the relationship.
Okay, and it's signed Love Donna, right?
Yes, sorry. So it's from my mom.
And in this email, does she indicate to the Klingermans that there is no chance at the appellate level for appeal of your relocation?
Yes, that's what the email says.
All right, and is that email dated?
All right. So let me see. So I see something going back and forth between the chat and so let's just keep it cordial. I see between, and so just keep it cordial and make sure to not, Sarah, you and I can talk later. All right. And so, yeah. All right, let's keep it going.
6/25 of 13.
Yes.
So 5 days after the order was issued, your mom did know that order was final based on this.
Based on that email, yes.
Okay, it was, you were asked questions about, your mom never suggested any harm to Dan Markell to you, But she did want to bribe him, yes?
Yes.
Take control from him, weren't those her words?
Yes.
Aggravate him,
Yes.
scare him.
I don't remember scare him, but I believe that was part of it.
Give him some grief.
Yes.
Take something from him.
Yes.
Show that fucker what would make him absolutely miserable,
Yes.
but definitely not kill him, right?
I don't know what the question is.
Seems pretty clear.
Donna was caring and devoted to your boys. You were asked about that. That's true, right?
Yes.
In fact, she maybe cared a little too much about your life and you and what was going on with you sometimes, right?
I don't know that you can care too much.
Even the Nazi uniform craziness came from her version of some kind of place of love. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Because although her lawyers tried to downplay this, she was suggesting a baptism for these kids, right?
She was.
Yes.
She said she looked into it and could get it done in 2 weeks, right?
I believe that's what it said.
And didn't she justify the means or claim that this would be harmless to your children because it was just like playing dress up to them, right?
Yes.
Just like Jake the Pirates.
Yes.
She thought the ends, relocation, would justify the means, didn't she?
Yes.
And she thought a move to South Florida was what was best for you
Yes.
and what was best for your children,
Yes.
who she cared about more than anyone in the world.
I mean, I don't know who she cared about most in the world, but she loves
there-
me.
Is there anyone that she cares about more than those 2 boys?
My dad.
Okay. She thought relocation was best for those boys. They were
Yes.
going to have better opportunities, right?
Yes.
Better family support,
Yes.
a happier mother
Yes.
with a more lucrative profession.
Yes.
And your lives all depended on it. Isn't that what she said?
Yes.
And Dan Markell could have agreed, couldn't he?
He was amenable, but then he didn't want to ultimately.
He could have moved to South Florida, right? Isn't that what you were asked on cross?
Yes, he could have.
Could have moved to South Florida and enjoyed all that delicious kosher food down there, right?
Yes.
And if he had relented, you and he could have had separate lives in Miami and happily co-parented the boys, right?
In
That
theory,
could have happened.
Yes, it could have.
Except he wouldn't relent, would he?
I mean, he said no, and so we had a hearing, and the judge said no.
Right. He wouldn't relent. He wouldn't give your mom what she wanted, would he?
I mean, we only had one conversation about it, so it wasn't like a ongoing thing.
It wasn't an ongoing thing. What wasn't?
I mean, between Danny and I, we talked about relocation. He said he would think about it, and then he said he didn't want to. And then we had the hearing, and then that was the end of it for me.
Yes, but you were asked on cross, wouldn't things have been potentially great for Danny down there too?
Yes, I think they would have.
Couldn't we all have lived happily ever after if he would have agreed to move down there too? Possibly, right?
Possibly.
But he wouldn't agree.
He didn't agree. No.
Nothing further.
Ooh, that was wow. And a lot of people, because to me, Donna was doing too much and she cared too much. I agree. Boundaries are incredibly important. And something came up during Wendy's testimony. I forget if the state or if the defense brought it up, that Wendi had made a comment that she might not have left her marriage if it hadn't been for the influence of others. And Wendy's going to try to say like, oh, that meant without their support. And the state is framing it more as like, what about all the meddling, sending you the Match.com stuff. Like the state is going to definitely see it a different way. And so, witness, please don't go back and forth with Sarah. I've asked. So as long as things can stay cordial, please just don't go back and forth. And I've asked that on both ends. Let's just not. All right. And then also, yeah, so we're good. All right. So with Rob. So Rob gets up to testify about his relationship with family and about Charlie. He's going to mention that the things Charlie really loves is like boats, and I don't know. I was thinking like women, and I thought Charlie had like a substance issue. I don't know. I thought he liked to party. His brother is going to give a very PG answer, in my opinion. So we're going to watch a little bit of Rob.
Needed more attention than the other two children?
I think so, yes.
When did Wendy's life start becoming one that she needed to pay or give more attention to?
I think when she had some troubles in her marriage, I wasn't aware there were any troubles in her marriage until Wendi left. But I think around that time when she had two young children, I think that was when she became more involved. And I was, at that point living, pretty good.
All right. And so I'm just going to change. When I go back and forth between the stream, it cuts out the stream. And so here we go.
Distance away.
Okay. Were you living in Philadelphia at the time?
Yeah, but first in Philly and then in New York, where we live now.
Okay. And so Charlie always got a lot of attention, and then Donna also started giving her attention also to Wendy's life once Wendi starts going through the separation or divorce.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. From your interactions with Donna Adelson through your whole life growing up and even as an adult, would you describe her as someone who's mentally sharp, thinking about things from all angles, or is she someone who's a little more gullible?
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, that was going to be a good question. I forget if she gets it in. I think she's going to get it in, though, if I remember correctly. We get to fast forward through the sidebars.
Charlie and...
Objection is sustained. You may continue with your examination.
Were Charlie and Donna Adelson dependent on each other or pretty independent from each other?
I would say Charlie was probably somewhat dependent on my mom to help him out with organizing stuff, his dental practice. I think he probably relied on her a lot.
But so if my child had a business, I would be encouraging my child to be independent. There's some parents that struggle with their children becoming adults and needing them less. And like they want to still be overly involved in everything. Because to me, there could have been some things Charlie could have learned, or there could have been a way for him to mature and grow, but he just seems stunted to me. That's just how I see it. And creative minds, and I also saw somebody else mention curiously, I really do feel sorry for Rob. This is a difficult situation. I'm going to take him off because I have him in a bad pause. I feel sorry for Rob, and yet to me, of all the Adelsons, Rob seems the healthiest, but I think it's because he broke off contact. And it's going to come out during his testimony that the last time he spoke to his mother was around, like, I think it's when it's around some of the crime. I don't know if it's when the people were arrested. So because he was surprised that his mom didn't reach out to like give him the update, that because he saw that two people had been arrested for Dan's murder, And then his anniversary rolls around, and Donna's just like, oh, they're just chatting it up about the anniversary. And he's mentioning multiple times, like, yeah, the arrest, the arrest. And his mom like shut him down. And it seems like that's when the distance started. And I wonder, because he was cooperating with authorities, and Donna specifically, according to his testimony, told him not to. Yeah, Donna said, I don't care. Like all of that was just very, very so let's hop back into his testimony.
Okay. And you mentioned the dental practice. When you were growing up, who owned the dental practice?
So they're going to just get into some of that history. I think some of the more interesting things come out a little bit later. All right. Let's start from here.
During the divorce, from your conversations with Donna, was she fixated on Wendi taking this job with a guy named Gary Cohen in Miami?
Yes, that was a common discussion point.
Okay. Did she seem like it was just something that she kind of thought would be a good idea, or something that she seemed to have a real obsession with?
It came up a lot in my discussions with her about this job with Gary, or she'd be making $1 million a year and she'd be a partner. And it was something that was brought up a lot, that she'd be able to take care of her kids in a way that she couldn't up in Tallahassee.
And to me, Donna seems really concerned with how things look. And so I think she wanted, I don't know, it just seemed like Donna was trying to make things, but also Wendi didn't speak up and set boundaries, from what I'm seeing and hearing. Let's keep it going.
And then it was probably the one thing that she mentioned to me, the only time I heard any anger after the murder had occurred, was that I asked, is Wendi going to go work for Gary now? And she told me that.
Did the job end up not working out?
As far as I know, it didn't.
Okay. And that you heard some anger from Donna when that happened?
She said that his partners wouldn't let them hire her until they.
Well, that's probably a good decision, but I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
But there was some anger there because the job didn't end up working out.
Yes.
They couldn't hire Wendi, or didn't want to hire Wendi after all.
That's what I was told.
Okay, thank you. Now, during the summer of 2014, did Wendi Adelson, I'm going to move on to 2014 now, did Wendi Adelson send you a text where she referenced having a boyfriend?
Yes.
And was this before Dan Markel's murder?
Yes.
Why was that memorable to you?
It was just unusual. Wendi, never was someone who would, share her, romantic life or boyfriends, or, tell me or, text me about anyone she was dating. So it just stood out as, unique or different.
All right. And today, the boyfriend that Wendi messaged him about, that boyfriend testified today. And in Rob's testimony, so before I get to Rob's testimony, I also just want to mention his children also have to grieve because they don't have a relationship with their dad's mother. And probably, I wonder if he doesn't have really a relationship with Harvey either. It seems like all of that contact was cut off, and that just has to be hard. And to me, Rob did the right thing. It was appropriate to cooperate with the authorities. You can hear how much he cares about Dan, he's like, because that was, even if it didn't work out with Wendi, that's still his brother-in-law, the father of his nephews. And you could just hear just how broken this was. And so it's possible. Yeah. It is possible that he might be the only one that doesn't end up in. And I don't know if they're going to get Harvey. I don't know. So Donna, she likes to talk a lot. She likes to communicate a lot. And I think they're going to have a lot of evidence for her. I don't know what they're going to have for Harvey. I don't know what the state has. The state has a lot. Yes. So I did a what's it called? I did a program for mental health creators. And I have a video where I talked about my experience getting to go to Harvard and be a part of their creator program, mental health creators, where we learned how to ethically integrate like mental health in social media. And so it was really cool. Yeah. And I think Rob would be a healthy person that I would want in my like if Rob was my brother, like he just seems like a really good guy. And to me, he didn't do anything wrong. He definitely has dignity. To me, he came across very credible. He's not he's a medical doctor, so he's an ENT, so he doesn't understand like what he's supposed to say, what he's not supposed to say. And so there were times the state had to kind of stop him from like saying something somebody else said, or I don't know, like there were times the state had to like stop his testimony. But I think he was just trying to answer the questions, respond because he was subpoenaed. He was likely subpoenaed to be there. And yeah, to me, he came across very, very credible. All right. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about so then we talked about the other stuff comes up later. But I didn't realize that Rob mentioning the thing about Jeff, that was gonna tie in to Jeff's testimony too. And this is not Wendy's trial. Remember, Donna is the one on trial, not Wendy. But the defense is gonna point the finger at Donna. So I'm glad that the state is just because I wonder if in closing, if they're gonna say, like, we haven't finished. I don't know if the state is gonna mention that uh they do believe that other people are involved. Because today when who was it? It was Catherine McManaway. So Katie testified today, and the state put the picture up and was like, okay, you talked to Charlie. Charlie talked to his mom. But Donna never talked to Siegfried, no, to you about this, or like they just kind of talked about what happened. They didn't explain the washing the money. I wish they had went more into like Donna washing the money, but it was just mentioned that Donna washed the money. I just think that's because like she literally laundered the money, like she washed the money. So that came out today. Um, it is so much. Yeah. So not just credible, but he also came across likable. To me, Wendy did not come across likable to me. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all think now we have our now try to have an unbiased, you know what I mean? Like try to think about watching this for the first time. Would if you were on the jury, knew nothing about this case, would she come across likable? To me, she seemed evasive to me, but at the things that pointed to her and not to her mother. Uh, Curiously said Wendy's exhausting. That was your experience. And I think she might remind some people of somebody else. Because I saw at the beginning of the stream, somebody had commented on the video that some of Donna's, Wendy, me and my brain, some of Wendy's testimony was triggering just because they have interacted with somebody kind of like that. See, I thought it was washing fingerprints, like any evidence. That's why I thought they were washing the money was to like, but money's going to have fingerprints on it. I don't even know that they could isolate it. Maybe they could. I don't know. But so many people touch money. I don't, so don't do crimes, but I don't know if you have to wash it. Maybe you do. Don't do crimes. There was also a forensic accountant today. I did not get to finish her testimony today. So I didn't get to watch it. I was thinking they were thinking fingerprints. That's what I thought they were trying to wash off, despite the fact money is incredibly dirty. Like you probably didn't have to put it in the washer. Yeah. That's just but yeah, that was a lot. But in Jeff's testimony, um is there any testimony that y'all would like me to react to or talk about a little bit? Don't do crimes. Don't do crimes. Don't do crimes. That's my statement. Is there any testimony that y'all wanted me to take a look at? I have about 20 to 30 minutes that I can be with you all. The forensic accountant would explain what money laundering actually is to Donna. It's like running it through another business. Don't. But they kind of did that too because they were paying. So that they used, I think, the dental practice money because I think the cash Charlie had, it might have been from the dental practice. It was confusing, and also paying Katie through the dental practice. I don't. That might count. I don't know. 44 checks was a lot. 44 checks. They did not mention that she got I don't think they mentioned that Katie had surgery. They didn't mention that part. Oh, yeah, Jodi Arias tried to wash the camera. She did. It did not work. Just don't do crimes. You don't have to have a good memory. You don't have to do all those things. Let's see if there's welcome. All right. So with Jeff's testimony, they did show a picture of two cars because around the time that Luis and Sigfredo did their first drive around in Tallahassee, it just so happened to be on a day that Jeff was going out of town. And according to Jeff, Wendi was aware of that. And the rental car that was rented looked a lot like his car. He found this all out after the fact, like he didn't know this at the time. And then the day the crime actually happened, he was supposed to be leaving out of town that day, but he actually went a day earlier and got a flat tire. I think he said Kmart. I don't know. They caught him on so there was clear evidence that he had no involvement, but there was a part of him that felt like Wendi was stringing him along. Like those were the words he used. He used the words stringing him along. And if she ever had a trial, I think the state feels, I think the state's theory is that Jeff was almost like, okay, if fingers ever kind of start looking towards us, let's have Jeff. And was that the reason why Wendi had text her brother Rob to say, hey, I'm dating Jeff, don't tell anybody? But Jeff had met Wendy's parents on multiple occasions, like I think once or twice, and like her parents knew that they were dating. So all of that just comes out very confusing if that's the way all of it happened. The defense tried to make Jeff sound like a jilted lover, like he just like he was just mad, but I'm sure he was probably mad that he, thinks, he was trying, they tried to, according to Jeff, that they might have been trying to set him up as the fall guy. Like that, I'd be upset if somebody tried to do that to me. But I watched his testimony. There was also June's testimony today, one of Charlie's ex-girlfriends. And they broke up, I think, around the time because she mentioned that his behavior, he seemed depressed and anxious when Sigfredo and Luis were arrested. He had a change in behavior around that time. And so she testified to that. She didn't really know much about Donna, I don't think. There really wasn't much of a connection there. All right. Yeah. Oh, so Polly mentioned that Jeff seemed to come across a little desperate, but felt that the Adelsons are very manipulative. And so I think Jeff liked Wendi, but I think Wendi wasn't really all that into him, I don't think. And that's why emailed him and said, "Give me a week," and that's pretty much when they broke up. And so, um, all right. um, okay, so Forever Wonder said, when I watched Jeff's interview, he kept throwing in all these unrelated things to make Wendy sound bad. Okay, he sounded like a jilted. So that's where I he did come across, and the defense seemed to point at that are you just a jilted lover? And two things can be true at the same time. A person can be a jilted lover and, maybe have some information, but it didn't come off as credible as like Rob or as some other testimony. Aw. June seemed nervous, especially with a cross examination, which is understandable. I am a licensed psychologist trained to manage my emotions, and there was this one defense attorney that's known in our area for like just going at the other side. And anytime he would cross examine me, and it only happened 2 or 3 times, I think. He was a really, really good attorney, but I I had to be very careful with managing my emotions while on the stand, because he was trying to make me look less credible by agitating me. That's my assumption, and he's like, so if I saw him after court, he's polite, he was nice, but once he's in court, he was he was pit bull, bulldog, whatever. I don't know. He was a bit aggressive, and it was not fun to be cross examined by him. I and that was like a custody child welfare type case. There were a few cases like that where I would be cross examined by a particular person. That was not fun. All right. All right. The fact that Donna wrote Katie's checks? Yeah. So I don't think they thought they would be caught. I think they overestimated, or that maybe Katie would lie and say that she had worked there. I don't know. I don't know. Cuz Charlie would give Katie like a stack of checks and tell her like don't cash them all at once, and sometimes Katie would just cash them. So like, Mm, don't do crimes, and then also like, ugh, like it was just a bad idea. All of it was just a very, very bad idea. Um, all right, Pooh. Please, could you explain how children's memories develop? So, they memories and language can sometimes be tied together, not always, because not everybody has. So there are people that are nonverbal that still have memories. But once you can tell a story, once you can recreate a story, that helps memories. Um, they just helps make them a little bit more solid. The memory part of the brain is the hippocampus. That's where most memories are stored. Traumatic memories don't get filed away properly, so that's why sometimes I have worked with individuals, especially involved with foster care, that talked about having memories, body sensations, and things that go pre-verbal, that go back to like a year, like that go back very early. Most people's first memories are around 4 or 5. That's how most people, um memories, how do they develop? Do they And I'm just making sure that I'm giving you all accurate information. So as the brain matures, the first thing to develop is short-term memory. So that's remembering things just for a few seconds. So when babies are very, very young, you can fool them. There's something called object permanence, where before, I think, the age of 2, I think around 2 is when object permanence, but you can put something in front of a baby. So a baby that's 6 months, if they really wanted this, I could just put it behind me and the baby would forget it exists. And but once object permanence develops, So if a baby wants this and I put it behind, they reach behind me. They remember, oh, that thing I want is behind her. And so short-term memory develops first. Long-term memory is remembering things for longer than 20 seconds. There's a ton of brain development that happens from infancy to 5. So there's so much that happens in the brain, and that's where when traumatic things happen within that time frame, it can impact brain development. It does not always, but sometimes it does. And that's super cool, Lisa. You did object permanence experiments in college. And so that's where some separation anxiety can be normal in kids. So even with a very securely attached child, if their mother leave or if their parent leaves the room, once they have object permanence, because they remember the parent still exists, and so they'll kind of get upset. But then, when they see the parent again, everything's fine. Or the child, plays and is distracted. My child started daycare around 18 months. And one of the biggest things for anxiety is the parent also being calm. And dropping him off the first day at daycare, I was so nervous. I actually took off the entire morning. So I dropped him off at daycare at like 8 a.m. or 8:30 or something. And I did not see my first client, I think, until 12 or 1, because I don't know if I saw any clients that day. I don't know. If I did, it was in the afternoon, because if he was upset, if something happened, I wanted them to be able to call me. His first week of school, I think he had an ear infection by like day 2 or 3. He was sent home with a fever. I think his second day, I think he was sent home with a fever. So we had the book. So there's a Daniel the Tiger song. There is an episode on separation anxiety, and it goes, "Grown-ups come back." And so we did that one. And then we also did Llama Llama Mrs. Mama or something, or Llama Llama Goes to School. We did Llama Llama Goes to School, and we did Daniel the Tiger. So that was our preparation and it was really more mommy being. So I had to fake it. Dropping him off the first day of school, I was so nervous. Our child had been with my mom for the first 18 months of his life. And I could literally text her, mom, send me a picture. And I would say proof of life. Like, I would be like, show me a picture of what my kid is doing right now. And she put up with me. She did. But for daycare, and we picked a place that we trusted, like, and our kid did fine with daycare. Um, Witness mentioned to me, it's interesting, Rob was the oldest. Ah, yeah. And so sometimes the oldest is the first one to kind of break away. So I've worked with cycle breakers that were the oldest and that were the middle child. I'm pretty sure I've probably had some cycle breakers that were the youngest, but the oldest and middle child, those are the ones that I see the most in therapy. And some only children as well. Yeah, the oldest normally does carry the burden. I agree. I did. I asked her for proof of life. I did. Like, show me what my kid is doing right now. Just like once a day. I don't know. She thought of it as a joke. And so the funny thing about daycare for me, I was losing control. Like, I couldn't just, but it was our kiddo did fine. It was the perfect time for him to start. But we're talking about memories. All right, so let's go back. So then there are declarative memories. So for facts and events. And for some kiddos, that happens the first few years of life. I'm pretty sure my kiddos' first memories are probably around like 4 or 5. Showing a kid pictures and telling them the stories help those memories get stronger. So every year I do a picture book of all of our memories for the year, and it's to get them off of my phone and into a photo album. I personally, and this is not sponsored, I use Shutterfly. There are a bunch of places where you can do it. Some people do physical scrapbooks, but once a year I do our picture book for the year. I just got the one from 2024 to 2025. I just got that one this past week. So I do, our kiddo's birthday is in August. And so I do from August to August. So from the beginning of the school year until his birthday. That's normally what I put out. But sitting down and showing kids pictures, those things can help with memories. I did mention for any kiddo that's had bad things happen early on, or that has lost a parent, it can be really hard for them to maybe not remember some things. And so if they do have videos, pictures, you want to save all of those things. Um and then in therapy, if the child does end up needing any type of grief therapy or anything, they can work through some of those feelings. Because sometimes if there is a step parent, um, or somebody else that's filling that role, sometimes the child will have mixed emotions that are directed toward that person. So I've worked with a lot of people that have maybe lost a mother, and uh, they end up being really rude to their stepmother. But really, they're struggling with grief related to their mother role, and us addressing that grief helped with their, like, if the relationship with the stepmother is, like, as long as, they're healthy and safe and stable people. Yes. All right. Dr. Barry, what can cause someone to have memory starting much later than 4 to 5 range? So, like, if somebody's first memory is around, so if somebody says their first memory is at 14, like looking back at their childhood, they don't remember ever experiencing any trauma, but their first memory is 14. That's where, so I give every adult client I work with the adverse childhood experiences scale. I would go and check their ACEs. Was there a divorce? Was there any like major family stressor that happened? Because when a brain is overly stressed, sometimes doesn't have time to remember. So that's why, especially for teachers, if they have kiddos that are really struggling, our school this year, they're starting this handle with care. So, like, I could text my child's teacher, handle with care, and that just means like, let's say something happened in our family, and I just wanted to give the teacher a heads up that, hey, there's something happening. We don't need like we're gonna hit, but just know there's something going on in my child's life that you can send handle with care, and the teacher will be a little bit more patient. They'll be more supportive, and the child, if they need to go talk to the counselor or something, they'll just have a heads up that there's something going on in this child's life. And so when memories start later, sometimes it just means that there's been something stressful. So I'm just speaking in general. I can't talk about anybody's individual thing, but when I have a therapy client that doesn't remember their childhood at all, there's normally some type of stress, even if it's not like a big T. So we talk about big trauma. I don't think little traumas are any, but like sometimes we do talk about like big T's versus little T's. And sometimes what's happening is that there's just, maybe the family was homeless for a period of time, and the child, there was some food insecurity, or there was something happening normally, not always, but normally. Um, do, 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 do. So if you feel with family, um, I'm not sure. All right, so let's see. Let me know if y'all have any last minute questions. Thank y'all so much for joining. This case, I'm definitely going to continue to follow it. I'm going to continue to watch the testimony. Um, uh, yes, and I feel like the state is putting on a pretty strong case. I do think that a lot of it is still kind of focused on other people. And I think the state is getting to the Donna evidence. And so I think the state is gonna, excuse me, is gonna get there. And because it just seems like they're weaving a story together. And once you hear the next witness, you kind of remember, oh yeah, like this person said that. So if Jeff had went before Wendi or before even Rob, like it just makes sense the way that they're organizing everything. And so I appreciate you all. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. For anybody following my EMDR training saga, I'm really excited to talk with my current clients about going through this training. I was able to figure out that by the end of the training, I will be fully certified to do EMDR. EMDR used to be done in 2 parts. So there used to be part 1 and part 2. I was surprised to learn that like a lot of people that paid for EMDR training never actually used it. And so they've revamped the program to just make it so that the people that do invest in it, that they will actually use it. And so EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It's a way to help people file away those stressful events, those traumas, in a way that it doesn't keep popping up in their life. I work with a lot of people that I think would benefit from the treatment, and so I'm excited to start the initial phase because there are phases in treatment. Reprocessing is one of the later phases, and so I'll get to start some of the preparation phases with my current clients, which is pretty cool. EMDR is not for everyone. So for individuals with severe dissociation or with psychosis, there's some situations where it's definitely not indicated, and some people have had bad experiences. So the person that I'm getting training from, she actually sometimes, if somebody had a bad experience, sometimes she helps them have a corrective. Sometimes what they reprocess is their treatment. Like if their past treatment went really bad, sometimes they're coming in to lay a strong foundation to be able to work through treatment. And so Dr. Berry, do you have any info on how trauma manifests in different parts of the body? So there are some good books for that, and there might be some other videos. So I talk about trauma in the brain a lot. Lisa, that might be a good video. So if I end up with some extra time, I'm laughing because I have so much on my plate, but that might be a good because it does show up in the body. That's the body keeps the score. I don't love, so the book can be a little triggering, but the information is accurate. So that might be a good follow-up video once we get through the Adelson trial. All right. Yes. Let me see. It's always best to face stuff you get through, empower yourself. And so the cool thing about EMDR is it's really about teaching the client how to rescue themselves and to direct treatment. And so I was excited to learn that, and I'm really excited to give it a try. And so I will see y'all on Saturday. Y'all will see me in the chat over at Emily D. Baker and Paul and some of your other favorite streamers as we go along. I hope y'all have a good one. See you next time.